Hey guys, okay, very quick little note here to tell you that this is my 100th vlog, number 100. So I'm very excited about this little milestone here. I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for supporting me and being with me on this little journey I've been showing you. And I have an extra long video for today. I'm talking about quite a few things, so I hope you enjoy it. And here's to 100 million more videos. Hey guys. Okay, I've been really blessed for the last 2 days to be super busy because I've not been super crazy, which has been awesome. Wanted to share something, it's really loud out there, hold on. But the results of my little experiment with the dates. So remember how a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, I picked some dates and they were still green. And I wanted to see if they would dry out. And then about a week later, I picked some other ones, and they were orangish, and I wanted to let them dry out. So let me show you what happened. So here they are. I picked them right off of the palm tree. These are the green ones from a few weeks ago, and these ones did not work. So they have to be yellow already in order for them to be like a real date, I learned. So these ones are useless. This was the one that seemed a little bit rotted or perfect on the bottom, but it isn't. Turns out it was rotted. But this side looks kind of decent for a date, but these ones are a lot older. And these beauties are the ones I just picked last week, you guys. Look at this. It looks like the regular dates you get from the store. So now I picked these off a tree in an urban area, and I do not recommend picking things in urban areas and eating it because you never know what went into the ground soil, and there's lots of people that dump chemicals into the, into their drains and wash their cars and let it, seep into the land and stuff. So I don't recommend this, but I'm brave this one moment, and I really just want to try this date. So I'm gonna wash it really good right now, and I'm gonna just take a bite and see what it's like, and you guys will see. Maybe I won't make it. So if this video never got uploaded, check my phone because this is proof. The question you may be asking yourself is, am I doing this just for shock value? Well, it's entertaining, I think, so it's why I'm doing it on camera, but I would do this even if I wasn't doing vlogs, I promise. I am that kind of person who probably wouldn't tell anybody about it. I would just try it, but okay, here we go, you guys. Wow, you guys. Holy guacamole. I was gonna just have one bite of it because I was like, I just want to see what it's like, but this is good. Wow. Actually, no, I don't think I'm gonna eat the whole thing just because it is so urban. It is from a tree that's so urban. I was actually, I looked at the tree on my walk this morning. I'm like, what? I could actually climb that thing. There she is, folks. See that? Right there. Totally reachable. Some gloves. Climb this sucker. Some scissors. I'm kind of considering it. Am I brave enough to eat dates like this? Does anyone have any information on, why this is so bad, and Cheri, don't do it because you're putting your life at risk? I don't know. I probably wouldn't end up doing it, but it is, it's kind of sad because dates they can be very expensive, right? They can be $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 a pound, depending on what kind you get and what quality they are, which is a lot. And there are tens of pounds, maybe 100, maybe 1,000 million pounds on that tree. I don't know. There's tons and tons of dates up there, and I know I could climb it, and I'm just like, Okay, but these, I gotta say, I want to just talk about the texture though. So this date, you can see the little pit on the inside. When you eat this, it feels a little bit more like sort of biting into an apple-ish. It has a little crunchier sort of texture, and then you start chewing on it and it gets that real nice soft sweet date taste. It tastes just like the regular dates that I get from the store. Very exciting. And that's the end of my experiment. So I guess I'm going to throw these dates out now, and I'm going to consider harvesting these dates from the local tree. I don't know. I probably won't do it because it's such an urban tree, but that was fun anyways. Bye, guys. To eat today, I'm going to start by having this persimmon, if it's any good. Then I'm going to make my chocolate smoothie. Recipe for the smoothie is down below in the description section. And what was the other thing? Oh, then to eat, I'm going to make, my friend Michele has this amazing marinara sauce. It's nutritarian. She's like one of the best nutritarians I've ever met. She's so good. She lives here in Vegas, and she has shared with me her marinara sauce, and I have a bunch of zucchini to use up. So I'm going to make zucchini marinara for dinner. I'm going to eat a massive quantity of it, and I'm probably going to make a salad with it too. So look out for that, and I'll show you guys a little step-by-step of how I make her marinara, and I'm actually going to post that recipe sometime in the near future, and she's excited about it too. All right, guys, see you later. Oops. Hey, guys. All right, I just wanted to show you, I'm setting this on my Vitamix right now. I just wanted to show you about this persimmon. So I showed you guys the other persimmon I had last week when we were in Tahoe, and I was explaining to you that these Fuyu persimmons, these ones, where's the camera? Fuyu persimmons, these are the ones that should be hard like an apple when you eat it. So I wanted to show you, this is what it's like. Here, let me see if I can, so you can hear this. Listen. It's just like peeling an apple. I think some people actually eat the peeling, but I don't eat the peeling. And you just peel off all that. And this is exactly the texture that I like the most. Persimmons are, as I was saying before, persimmons are they kind of have a really interesting flavor. They're almost impossible to describe. They kind of have a soft, almost, what's the word? Like gooey, not gooey, but like, dang, I can't think of the word. Oh, slimy. I know that's not an attractive word for food, but it's kind of pleasant when you eat it. Sort of a texture versus an apple is very more crisp and clean kind of a thing. Persimmon is a little bit more slippery. So what I do is oops, that landed on my boob, so I'm gonna get that out of there. I just take off the skin, and then I dig out this is like a really hard stem kind of thing. I break those off, and then I dig it out just enough to get that out, like I was taking out the core of a strawberry or a tomato or something like that. Just pluck that out, and then you have everything else is edible here. So what I like to do, kind of get some of that, the part that looks a little drier out of there, but it doesn't really matter. Now what I like to do, because persimmons have a really cool pattern on the inside, I like to cut them not the way I would cut an apple. I like to cut them like this. And then I just eat slices of them. And then you can see there's like this little star pattern in there. So guys, okay, let's test this one out, see how it is. It's perfect. Oh my god. I haven't had a persimmon like this since I lived in Florida. So this is a big deal for me. And actually, I haven't had a persimmon like this since the first time I had them in Florida, probably years ago. Like, I think 2 years ago or something, because the next year's crops after I discovered persimmons were like, the taste just wasn't quite right. I don't know why. But, all right, hold on. So they have a really, really delicate, lovely flavor. Oh my god. You guys, that flavor. Here's what happens. When I get like a fruit like this that I love, I always end up buying way too many of them, and then it's pretty much all I eat all day long. When I first discovered persimmons, I like should have bought stock in them, because I would buy like 20 at a time and just eat those like all day because they're so good. Check out this little pattern. See that? Little star pattern. Now what's cool about that star pattern is it means that's like a little crunchy area. So when you bite down on it, there's the texture of persimmons is Also, one of the things I love the most about them, the texture and the flavor, and of course those are pretty much the only things about them, but they're so good. That's it. I'm gonna go enjoy my persimmon, and I'll catch up with you guys after I'm done with my smoothie. See ya! I want to mention that I got groceries yesterday, so check this out. Did you expect to see Zool when I opened the fridge? Just kidding. Okay, look at this beautiful nutritarian fridge, you guys. This is a new cat food I'm trying, so I won't be eating that. But I got tempeh, I got all my nuts and seeds and my dates back there, coconut, flaxseed, chia seed dressing, my tea. Then down here I have some more nuts. I've got some leftover chickpeas, some zucchini that I'm going to have tonight, cabbage I've been using in my Mexican salad. These are all the mushrooms, check all those out. Bunch of carrots, and then down here I keep the greens and my hibiscus tea. So I've got cruciferous, arugula, and kale, baby kale here. Cabbage I'm going to use in a soup soon. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'll try it. And then I do always 2 or 3 bags of romaine hearts and celery and green onions. I have some red peppers down here. And I got my almond milk stocked up because I'm lazy. I don't want to make it right now. I got soy and almond milk. I like soy because it's creamier, and then I do almond milk just to sort of not have soy all the time. And my freezer, you guys, it had really dwindled down a lot, and I was running out of stuff, and I'm so stocked right now. Tons of berries, blueberries, mixed berries, cherries. I always keep those over here. Then over here I have open bags already, the corn that I use in my Mexican salad, and then random other things, like this is some tofu, and then this was, I think this was lemon tahini dressing, I'm not quite sure, and just little leftover things. These are veggie burgers, something, I think that's the quinoa dish. This is fancy Hungarian paprika, and yeah, whoops, I just dropped you. So I am feeling great because I have so many options. My fridge is stocked. And I actually don't really ever have a problem getting through greens anymore. When I used to buy, in the beginning, I used to buy a lot of greens, and I would buy a lot of vegetables, and they would always go bad, and I'd be throwing stuff out after a week or whatever. But now I'm to the point where I've done this so much, and I know so many dishes in my head now. That's why it's really important to like make a rule for yourself to make 1 new recipe a week at least, so you can learn the dishes and you can understand that when you look in your fridge and you see a bunch of stuff in there, then you see a bunch of possibilities and you're like, oh, I could make this, this, or this, or I could do this, instead of looking in your fridge and going, I don't know what to do with any of this, and then like eating pasta or something instead, you know? That's kind of the way you have to do it. But I mean, I went through that. So if you go through that where you buy a bunch of stuff and you just end up throwing it out, don't worry, that happens. It's all a transition. So I wanted to just let you know I was so excited about all my groceries. And time for a smoothie, getting it started. Okay, smoothie is done. Now I'm going to add my, well, almost done. I'm going to add my little topping things here. So I have maca powder. I have carob powder. I have peanut butter and matcha green tea powder. I'm going to put all of these in. Alright, there it is, and the peanut butter is sinking like quicksand, but there's like, this is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. I put like tons of peanut butter in there. And everything else, so it's done. Okay guys, I'm in the kitchen cooking. I'm making my friend Michelle's hearty nutritarian zucchini spaghetti. I'm working on the sauce right now. I'll show you guys a little bit how it looks as I go, but I don't have all the ingredients exactly, so it's not going to be exactly like hers, which is amazing, by the way. So good. I'm going to do this one today. I have a ton of zucchini to use up. You guys already know that. Sorry I said that, but I'm going to make this, see how long I can make it last. Maybe like 2 or 3 days or something. And then I will at some point for real post the recipe in a really nice professional content with her after I've been able to make it perfectly just the way she says. So okay guys, wish me luck. I'll let you know how it goes as I'm going. Alright, I sliced up an onion and I'm browning it in my pan here. You do not need oil to brown onions, by the way. This is proof of it. I just have it in a pretty hot pan. Mine's on like 7.5 right now. And as long as you just sort of let them sit in the pan and don't bother them too much, they will brown. Some of them will get a little bit burnt and then other ones won't be as cooked. It's not perfect, like if you did it in oil, that's a little bit easier, but you can brown onions in without oil. Okay, now you can tell the pan is really dry. The onions are pretty dry. My favorite magic trick, these onions will probably end up giving off a little bit of water pretty soon. My favorite magic trick is to add mushrooms because mushrooms give off a lot of water. So I'm going to put the mushrooms in now and they will start to cook and release tons and I won't need to use any water, I bet you anything. I've had this a few times after Michelle's made it. Sometimes she makes it with the mushrooms this size, sometimes she makes it with them smaller or sliced. I really like them this texture when she's done it before. Bigger and heartier. But you know, of course when you make a recipe it's all about the textures that you like. So make them the size that you want and yeah. For all you cooks out there who are a little intimidated by this idea of not using water or you know, getting the onions to the point where they're kind of almost, you know, you start to get a little nervous, like, is there going to be enough water in here? Never worry about it. Just add water. Not a big deal. If you're worried about them burning, just add some water. My mushrooms are starting to give off some water, so I'm not concerned about it because it's just the right timing and the right heat levels. But if you don't have a really good handle on that yet with what your stove does or even just your personal skills, don't worry about it. Just add some water and they'll cook just fine. And say if you add too much water, just let it cook down for longer. Get rid of some of that water. It's very easy to do, so don't be afraid. Just try. Alright, did not add any water. Look how much the mushrooms are glistening already. It's starting to help me with the onions so they don't burn. They're just nicely browned at this point. And really, look at how wet they are. They'll just continue to give off more water, so no sweat. Well, this is an actual sweat. Sweating the onions. Alright, I use the trick I always do for my garlic. I put some water in the corner. I happen to know this pan, if I put water, where does it end up? It's always on the left side. So I put my water over there and I add my garlic to let it cook in the water for just a few seconds, about 30-40 seconds. And I'm moving around these a little bit too so they don't burn. And what I'm doing is just trying to get that garlic a little aromatic and start to cook a bit without burning it, and then I just add it to everything else, and that way it doesn't burn. It's very important to do that. Then I'm going to just mix it all up, and now we'll add the tomatoes, which will give off their own water. So I'll be all set now, and I haven't burned anything, and all good. Okay, here's where I'm at. I have put in the can of tomatoes, because I didn't have any regular tomatoes, I just had the can, and I'm actually having this recipe. Then I put in a lot of beans. I put in more than she calls for, but I just didn't feel like having a partial can of beans open. And now I'm going to add the spices. So she calls for Italian seasoning. I'm going to put in half a tablespoon of this, which is her recipe, but I halved it, so that's cool. She also calls for basil, so I'm going to do about a tablespoon or a teaspoon of this, but I'm also going to add in this basil, which I just chopped off my plant yesterday. And I'm also going to add Mrs. Dash tomato basil garlic because I love the flavor of this stuff, and I'm going to add this extra spicy one, which I haven't tried yet. I'm going to add just a little bit of this. I think that'll be yummy. And I'm going to put the spices in and let it cook down until it's thickened, and then I'll add the final secret ingredients to the end. And instead of the tomato powder that she called for, because I don't have any, I'm just adding this other tomato powder, soup base and seasoning mix from Dr. Furman. This is the tomato based one, so I'm just putting this in there. Actually, I've never used it before, but I think it's going to be really yummy in this. I put about half a tablespoon in there. Okay, all the spices are in. I ended up using a lot of this tomato zest, which I think is super awesome. I really like it because it has a little bit of date powder in it. Let's see, what does it say? Organic date sugar. Okay, so there's a little bit of sugar in here, but less than a gram per teaspoon. And what I like about that is it sort of balances out the flavor of the tomato and the sort of acidicness of the tomato. And the rest of Michelle's recipe is really exciting. It calls for walnuts, chopped walnuts, and actually chopped lemon. And the lemon is supposed to go in at the end, so I'm going to wait until I've spiralized my zucchini to do the lemon part. And I'll put the walnuts in at the end too. And the thing is, this is already pretty thick, so I'm going to just add a little bit of water and simmer this for a while I prepare the zucchini. Forgot to add the black pepper, so I put a bunch of black pepper into it. I like things really peppery, so if you're not that big on peppery things, just add a little bit less spice. So you can see I've added the water, so I'm just gonna, I'm just bringing it down to a simmer. It was boiling a second ago. Bringing it down to a simmer so it'll cook for probably about 15-20 minutes while I finish up the zucchini. Okay, here's the last two ingredients. I'm gonna put these in at the end after it's done simmering once I've finished with zucchini. So this is part of a lemon. And Michelle's technique is to chop off the yellow part of the lemon and just chop all of this using some of that white, because there's some really good nutritional benefits in the white part there. So I'm going to chop this up into very, very small pieces, and when I'm ready to serve, I'm going to just put all of this together and mix it up. She actually says that you should put the lemon in at the end if you're going to, like if you're going to freeze it, do the lemon later. So I might just do it for my portion, put the lemon in, because I won't eat all this now, and I want it to taste real fresh next time. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to spiralize my zucchini, and I might make a salad with this too, and I'll be ready to go. Okay, these are the times where I really wish if we had like smell-o-vision on YouTube. Can I get that, please? Because this, Michele, your recipe is so incredible. It's so delicious, and I think it's about thick enough for my taste. So I'm going to just turn off the heat. I'm going to let it sit here for a while I do the zucchini over there. I've got my lemon all chopped up and my walnuts chopped up for serving in a sec. And then here's how I do zucchini. This is like my funny little setup here. So if you don't know about spiralizing zucchini yet, I'm about to tell you what it is. Spiralized zucchini is when you take a zucchini and you put it into the shape of pasta, basically. And this contraption that I have is a spiralizer. It looks pretty medieval, I know, but you push this back, here I gotta do this with my hands. You put the zucchini in and let the spikes hold it in there like that. You line it up on this little other thing, very technical, and then you spin it like this, and I have to do it with two hands so I won't be able to hold the camera while I do it, but as you spin it, this blade chops it, and these other set of blades on the other side that turn it into the size of spaghetti. So let me show you in a sec how it works. And I always do this setup like this, like it on the table and then a bowl underneath it to catch the pasta, because there's too much that comes out as you're doing it. So let me show you. Okay, so as you turn this hand crank here, it spiralizes the pasta. You're left with these long strands of basically spaghetti, and you get a little core left over that you can eat by yourself, which is really good. And you have this basically spaghetti. Now you can eat this raw, or you can cook it just a tiny bit so that it's warmer. I'm going to warm it up just a little bit and serve it with my sauce. And it's important not to warm it up too much because it does let off a lot of water as it cooks, so you really don't want to cook it, otherwise it'll get really like limp and soggy, and that's no fun. You could just take your zucchinis out ahead of time, let them come to room temperature, or make the pasta and let it come to room temperature before you serve it, because I actually really like it raw. I'm just going to warm it up a little bit because it's cold because it was in my fridge, but it's a really, really great substitute. It actually really does feel like pasta when you eat it. Just don't cook it too long, otherwise it will get like soggy and not very nice. You can also, spiralize lots of other things like butternut squash, carrots. There's other things that you can spiralize. I think zucchini is the best one for pasta. I have another recipe for, I'm going to link it below, zucchini pasta with creamy avocado sauce, which is ridiculous. As a nutritarian, you'll want to just leave out the oil, but it's good without the oil, don't worry. And the salt, of course. I made that recipe before I was a strict full-on nutritarian blogger, but so I'm going to do a bunch of this pasta. I think for one person, one medium zucchini is pretty much enough. It makes a lot. It's really surprising. I have found in the past making spiralized zucchini, that I'm not full, you know, like I get really full during the meal, but then it take like an hour later, I'm really hungry. So do try to eat more of this than you think you can, or have it with a huge salad at the same time. This sauce is super hearty and has a lot of beans in it, so I think that's going to really help and make this a super hearty meal that's filling. Oh, what I wanted to say was, so you can spiralize other things, but you could get a spiralizer like this. You can also get like julienne slicers, which work well for sort of making that kind of texture as well. Those are a little bit cheaper, but I actually think this is really worth it for that sort of pasta feel. Just to have in your kitchen for the moments when you want to do this type of a dish, because I think it's very versatile. You can do an avocado, you could do a pesto, you could do a marinara sauce like this. There's lots of different ways that you can use it, and you can add in the other vegetables as well, like add on some carrot or even some sweet potato. You want to cook those a little bit probably, unless you can digest that easily, raw sweet potato. That would give you a little bit of a heartier meal. But just a really, really great way to make a new interesting meal. And okay, I'm going to finish this up and eat. Guys, Mama's eating good tonight. Okay, final product. I put in the walnuts. I put in the lemons. You guys, look at this. Oh my God, so good. So good. Spices and everything, just perfect. I forgot Michelle's technique of putting this on top of a paper towel, so this is perfect because soaks up some of that water because the zucchini is really wet. So I'm just going to let this soak up water for another minute and I'll be ready to eat. Okay, you guys, dinner's ready. It's a little later than I eat dinner, like ever, but that's okay. It took a little bit to make. So here is the finished dish. Guys, remember, this dish is the size of my entire body, so that's what I love about being nutritarian, is being able to eat almost unlimited quantities of nutritarian foods. And then I didn't think I could live without having a Mexican salad as well, so I made another one of these, and I'm going to just tag team between the two of these and eat and eat and eat until I cannot eat anymore. And I'm very excited about it. So that's the recipe from Michele. I'm going to be doing it professionally soon with all the measurements and everything, but this was at least just to give you guys an idea about what the ingredients were, and you can kind of make it at home if you want before I release it. Time for dinner. Today has been a success. Yesterday was a success. I'm feeling good digestively, so getting back on track. Thanks for all your support, you guys. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad that you appreciate what I do as well. So have a good night. Bye. I did it. All of it.